Some people have asked me how to get around Singapore, and there are several ways. First, do you love being exhausted while on holiday? Do you enjoy dehydration? Do you hate yourself? Well then, have I got a great suggestion for you. The easiest but most expensive way of getting around Singapore is obviously by car. You can either hail a taxi on the road, or you can choose to use one of the ride-hailing apps in Singapore. I prefer to use these three: Grab, which is Singaporean, Gojek, which is from Indonesia, and Pada. What I typically do is open all three apps, put in my destination for all three, and just compare the prices across them. The prices can vary depending on time of day, the duration of travel, and so on. And here are my referral codes for the three apps if you want to get a discount. The cheaper way of getting around Singapore is obviously by public transport. The public transport system in Singapore is clean, efficient, modern, and extremely well connected. And like many other cities, we have buses, and our subway or metro system is called the MRT. So how do you pay for public transport? Well, the first thing you should know is that children under the age of 7 travel for free. If they are under 0.9 meters or 90 centimeters, just board the bus or the MRT. If they are taller than 0.9 meters, just go to any MRT station and obtain a child concession card. Just remember to bring the kid's passport with you. Is that all too confusing? Well, here's a graph to explain it all. You can use cash to pay for public transport, but then you'd have to admit that you are prehistoric. If you are living in the 21st century like the rest of us, there are three kinds of cards you can use on public transport. These are passes, EZ-Link cards, and contactless credit cards. First, passes. And even within the category of passes, there are three different types of passes. Look at all these names. So creative. Why couldn't they just have greater differentiation between the names? I don't know. The first is a Singapore Tourist Pass. With this pass, you get unlimited travel on Singapore's MRT and bus services. But note that these rides are not applicable for special circumstances such as the Sentosa Express monorail, some night buses, and so on and so forth. There are passes for 1, 2, and 3 days. These cost $22, $29, and $34 respectively, all of which are inclusive of a $10 refundable deposit. Now note that the pass starts when you use it for the first time. So the 1 day pass ends when the last public transport has stopped operation for that day. So for example, if you use the card at say 2 p.m. on Monday, then the 1 day pass will expire on Monday night. It's not a 24-hour thing. Now if you want to get your deposit back, you must return the card within 5 days from the day that you make the purchase. You can buy and return the Singapore Tourist Pass at certain MRT stations. Next, the SG Tourist Pass. The SG Tourist Pass is very similar to the Singapore Tourist Pass, but it does not include a deposit, so you don't need to return the card after expiry, and it's slightly more expensive than the Singapore Tourist Pass. There's only one option, and that's the 3 days SG Tourist Pass that costs you $29. And then there is the Singapore Tourist Pass Plus. This is also very similar to the Singapore Tourist Pass, but there is only one 3-day option. It costs $48 with no deposit, but it comes with a 1-hour walking tour, limited edition postcard set, and $5 credit for Changi Travel Concierge. The Singapore Tourist Pass Plus is available at various Changi Recommends counters, which you can find at all of the Changi airport terminals. Next, EZ-Link cards. These are stored value cards, so the value gets deducted every time you use them. These come with a $5 non-refundable deposit, and you can buy them from either our MRT stations or any 7-Eleven around Singapore. Note that you need to have a minimum balance of $3 in your EZ-Link card in order to be able to get on the MRT and buses. When your balance falls below $3, you need to top it up to continue using it. There is a handy EZ-Link app that allows you to easily check your current remaining balance, transaction history, earn points to get some free items, and so on. And when you're done with the card and want a refund, you can return it to any of our MRT stations or bus interchanges. However, remember that you can't get back the $5 non-refundable deposit. As I understand it, the refund usually takes about 14 days. So if you're leaving Singapore in a hurry, try to use up the credit in your EZ-Link card before you go. And finally, credit cards. Everyone has one of these, right? So these are probably the most convenient. Any bank card that has a contactless logo would do. This also includes mobile wallets like your Apple Pay, Google Pay, and so on and so forth. Simply tap the card or your mobile phone on the card reader when entering a bus or MRT station. Note, however, that with all overseas users of credit cards, your bank is likely to charge you an administrative fee, and you might lose on currency exchange. When you first arrive in Singapore, you can even take public transport from Changi Airport all the way to the city centre. You can either take one of several buses, or if you have a lot of luggage, my preferred choice is to take the MRT. The MRT's East-West line, that's the green line, services Terminals 1, 2 and 3 of Changi Airport. Take the MRT to Tanah Merah Interchange Station, where you'll have to change trains and you'll be on your way. So this brings us to the next question of how do you navigate around Singapore? You of course know about Google Maps. Open the app, type in your destination, and it'll tell you all the public transport options that you might have, which buses you can take, where to get off, how many stops it'll take, and the estimated time it will take, and so on. But here's the thing. I don't like Google Maps that much in Singapore. Yes, it's a very good, reliable map, but I find that for public transport options, it might not always give me the most efficient routes. So I like to use this website called gothere.sg. Type it into your browser, type in where you're starting from and where your destination is, and it gives you a whole range of options, including whether you want to take the bus, the MRT. It also comes with a map, and it even tells you how much the estimated fare for your journey is. I find this to be a bit more accurate than Google Maps in Singapore. Another app that I find quite handy is the mytransport.sg app. The app's available on Google Play and the Apple Store, and you can click on the yellow bit at the bottom that says near you to discover all the bus stops near you. Choosing the right bus stop then tells you which bus services go to the bus stop, the estimated time of arrival for the next 3 of each of those buses, and even what type of bus is coming, whether it's a single or double-decker bus. You can also choose to type in the stop number of a specific bus stop, and the app will tell you all the MRT and bus stops near that stop. And again, just choose the right stop. It'll tell you all the bus services that are coming, when they're coming, and as you can see here for bus 197, the next bus is arriving soon, and so it says ARR. And if you see that and you're not at the bus stop yet, a final couple of points. Unlike what you might have seen in some metropolitan cities around the world, the MRT stations in Singapore are very safe and very clean. Also, all of the bus stops in Singapore have a very handy board that tells you all of the stops that each bus is going to. There sometimes also is a digital display that tells you when your next bus is coming. And that's the end of today's video. What else would you like to know about Singapore? Let me know in the comments.